Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'll be explaining what duplicating, overriding, and inheriting a prefab does and what it means. So, to get started, we're going to head on over to ARMA Reforger in our directory. We're going to get onto a prefab, and we're going to find a prefab type. What I've used before in the other videos is LAV25 as an example. This is there prominent, and we're going to take a look at one of the prefabs in here. So we're going to look at base. So, what I did explain to you guys was the base prefabs are the parents. So any prefab that is developed off it, say the conflict variant, the camo variant, or the default olive green variant, will be inherited from that one parent. So if something changes on the parent, which is the base, it will end up changing on here. This is very useful when you are creating something that you want to have multiple things of. So say I made a cube, right? And I want that cube to have all these components to it. But I also want my other cubes to have those components and then update whenever I change the main core base prefab. That's what I want to have happen. So I can have this base, have the base cube, and then if I want to have the child have a different color, I can have a different color, whatever, and I can do red cube, green cube, blue cube. And then if I want to update all of those, I can just go back to my base cube and I can change or add a component to it, and all my children, which red, green, blue cubes, are now impacted by the changes on the base. That's how all of that works, a little bit more in depth with that system. You're going to notice ArmaReforger has a lot of base prefabs. It's good practice to have them. And moving on, you're going to see a drop down pop up. I'm going to pull it up on screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing, make it a little bit easier to understand. So you're going to have your override, duplicate, and inherit. Now, what all of these are going to do are specific things involving how you're going to copy over the prefab to your end within your mod project. So what an override does is you're taking the pre-existing prefab from ArmaReforger and you're overriding it. So say you wanted to make changes to the base game base prefab for the LAV25. Say you had your own scripted component, or you wanted to make a direct change to impact all of those LAV25s, you can override it and then add your component as required or add your changes as required to your override, and that will impact the base game's things. So that's how a lot of override mods work. With people changing certain vanilla aspects, they are completely overriding that. That goes for the arsenal boxes too. Say they wanted to add something, they usually just override the box config and then go in there and add their own stuff to it. Duplicate. So duplicating something is one-to-one copying. So when you duplicate something, you're duplicating a prefab. Say we're duplicating the LAV25 base, and we want an exact copy of that. That will copy the reflection to our mod project for us to then utilize as our own. And then inheriting, what I explained at the start. So inheriting is inheriting from that prefab and creating a child of that prefab. So see how this is the LAV25 base. If I inherited from this and it created my own child for my mod, my child would then be inherited from this, and whatever changes made to this will also reflect. This is more so for your own content. If you do it with a base game item, it will by default update regardless because it is being changed from the base prefab overall in the game. So it's pretty simple on how all of that works. There's not a lot to it. Like I said, overriding is making a complete override, making your own changes to it. Duplicating is a one-to-one copy, and inheriting is inheriting from the parent and making a child. Alright, thanks for watching.